Namaskar, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors, professionals, officers, officials, listeners, learners. I welcome all respected doctors and directors. I welcome all honorable student managers. I welcome honorable advocates, advisor, administrative advisors. I welcome the most honorable present. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section today that we are defining our holy Indian cultural, spiritual, social identities in the form of unity and diversity. I belong to God, God belongs to me. This truth is greater than counting the Lord's name or God's remembrance. This is pure devotion. In reality, only He is a devotee who belongs to God. He who belongs to God is not an ordinary person. A material person is ordinary. Objects and actions are related to this world. We are in no way related to them. While performing any action, remember that I belong to God. Then, in what way should I perform this duty? Intuitions will naturally emerge within your mind. If you will love the Lord with an innocent heart, then in what way you should be devoted, this will naturally occur within your mind. God is mine. This is a genesis for love. Love doesn't arise from renunciation, austerity, etc., but from belongingness towards the Lord. This truth is profound. After many years of delivering discourses, I became aware of this truth. Whatever belongs to us naturally becomes dear to us. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is no ordinary truth. Such devotion is of high status. There is no sadhana equivalent to it. We belong to God. He belongs to us. We belong to God. God belongs to us. We have become aware of this. Now, why will we take another path? Most conclusive and essence of all is the fact that only God is ours. Except Him, no one else is ours. God is ever present with us. Except Him, no one else stayed with us forever. If you accept this truth, then it is greatly benefiting. What comes and goes never belongs to us, but God is always present with us. He never departs. This is the essence of all the Shastras, Puranas, and Vedas. So behave with love with everyone, serve everyone, respect everyone, and honor everyone. But in your heart, don't consider anyone yours. Within your heart, consider only God as yours. If you acknowledge others as yours, then one day you will have to be to serve everyone is ours, but for ourselves means to receive no one is ours. For ourselves, only God is ours. You may consider God as Saguna, Nirguna, Sakar, Nirakar, etc. Whatever you believe, but He is ours. But I have told, what I have told you is the essence, which is not heard everywhere. If you say in front of your Raja, the deity of death, also that I belong to God, then even Yam Raja will shiver. If you accept your relationship with God, then purity, piousness will naturally come to you. We belong to God, God belongs to us. By merely uttering this, you will become pure naturally. We might be a disobedient child, but even then we belong to God. We just have to eradicate our disobedience. Sadhana that happens by the virtue of the body, that sadhana also is not valuable from within God's mind. The value that this has, it's not there in chanting, etc., performed by the body. A chaste wife doesn't say her husband's name, but does that diminish her love for her husband? Among hundreds of men, she finds only her husband as hers. नहीं रटया तो का भया घटया न चाहिए जैसे नार सुहागनी पति को नाम न ले. Being a fragment of God, you are one with the Lord. The body is one with the material world. If the body doesn't appear as us, then Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, all three will become effortless. Even after these many years of satsang, if we don't accept that the body belongs to the world and we belong to God, then what have we done? High talks like a pandit wouldn't suffice. It is a profound truth that till God is not realized, until then developing a relationship with anyone is dangerous. When you haven't become free from existing relations, then why do you dwell in relationships? All relationships have already become tough for you to breathe. Then what will you what will your condition be if you dwell new relationships? It will be an utter disaster. Formulating a relationship with anyone is the cause for downfall. Chadbharat developed a relationship with a deer. So he had to take a deer form. The word samantha means relationship, only means bondage in an excellent manner or in a great way. Formulation of a new relationship with a new danger. A man asked another, if I hold the egg of this meal, then what will you give me? The other replied that the mare herself will give it to you. She will take you so hard that you will die. It is required of a striver named sadhaka that we must not develop a relationship with anyone. Whatever relationships exist, they are also not broken. Then why formulate new ones? A relationship with the material world is the obstacle. These two things extremely rare. Keep your relationship only with God, whose fragment you are. You accept this or not, acknowledge this or not, or forget this altogether. Even then, your relationship with God will never break. If you accept your relationship with God, your sorrows will disappear. Whatever study I have done, the books I have gone through, and after pondering, it is the foremost truth that we belong to God, accept this fact for eternity, that I am not without a Lord. I belong to God. What I will find most valuable for all in my view, I speak that. Also, what is foremost in the view of the Vedas, Puranas, Shastras, and Sant Mahatmas, I speak that. I don't speak against them, and errors might occur, but don't focus on that. The fact that is special for us, friendly for us, individual for us, personal for us, profound for us, respectful for us, and beneficial for us is that our relationship with the Lord, we belong to God. There is nothing as remarkable as this truth. Even the Lord had stated that every soul is my fragment only. Mame Vansho Jeev Loke. It is a request to everyone that you must accept God as yours. You must accept this truth, and your improvement will happen automatically. Whether you understand or not, accept that we belong to God. Plenty of other facts are there as well, but I belong to God. This is the essence. That is why I repeatedly say this point. You may say that Swamiji keeps on repeating the same thing, that we belong to God. But even after repeated emphasis, if you don't accept, then how will you accept by stating it just once? So don't get fed up. Except for God, nothing else is going to stay with you. Reside in this world with immense pleasure, but God is mine. Do not forget this. Everything will then become alright. Renunciation, disinterest, etc. Everything will happen by itself. An easy way to awaken devotion is to consider God as yours. We see in the material world as well that whom a man considers as his own appears dear to him. We belong to God. God belongs to us. This is the essence. Every other point comes under this. Accepting God as ours is a liberating truth. By merely considering the Lord as ours, the Lord gets pleased. Therefore, you just accept that. You just accept God as your mother, father, brother, sister, husband, son, friend, master, disciple, sister. Rama is my mother and Rama is my father. Rama is my Lord and Rama is my friend. Oh, the compassionate Rama is my all in all. I do not know any other except him. Indeed, I do not know any other. I belong to God. By holding this sentiment, your ego will become connected to God. Then devotion will become easy and supreme without altering the ego. Devotion doesn't become great. This is a principle. If you become gods, then the realization of God becomes effortless. Otherwise, God realization will be difficult. Amongst all the difficulties faced in God realization, this is the foremost in this material world. Everyone loves just ostentatiously but not genuinely. God is ours in reality. The dear the Lord is to us, no one is as dear as Him. The body appears good, but even that is not ours. I have studied books, I have also been in the company of saints, and wherever I got to hear good facts, I have been there as well after visualizing many facts, after reading, after listening, after understanding, and after contemplating. I have concluded that no one is equally dear to us as God is. I belong to God. This truth is the essence of all truths to attain God and His love. Belongingness is the main factor and not austerity, charity, pilgrimage, fasting, etc. If you perform hundreds of austerities, vows, pilgrimage, fasts, etc., even then nothing can be equivalent to belongingness with God. Belongingness with God is greater than chanting meditation as well. Chanting of God's name, contemplation of God, meditation of God, trance in God, greater than all of these is I belong to God. God belongs to me. The more firmly you trust this, the better your job will become. God is almighty. He can grant everything. He can do anything. So He is mine. He will help me. He will protect me. This desires sentiment must not be there. God is mine. That's it. Don't demand anything from Him. Even if He graces by His appearance or not, that's His wish. Where is God? How is He? What does He do? What He doesn't do? These things are not that much required than belongingness. If He graces by His appearance, He is mine. If He doesn't grace by His appearance, He is mine. If He provides joy, He is mine. If He provides grief, He is mine. If He puts me through any situation, even then God is mine. The situation is not mine. God is mine. Remember this one truth. Fix this in your mind. Live every moment belonging to God. There are interruptions in chanting meditation, but there are no interruption in belongingness. For instance, upon rising the sun doesn't have to illuminate. The illumination happens by itself. Similarly, upon becoming gods, one doesn't have to work for the betterment. The betterment happens itself by God's grace. I belong to God as the sentiment grows firm. Likewise, remarkability will come within you and an exceptional joy will be there. The distance from God, the difference from God, and the distinction from God. Distance, difference, and distinction from God will resolve. By not accepting God as ours, various and many new troubles will arise. And by accepting God as ours, all troubles will resolve. The entirety of the Godhead souls are fragments of God. Ishwar Ans Jiv Avinashi. Therefore, this belief must be there within each one of us that we are God's beloved son, daughter. If you will accept yourself as God's fragment, then Even without saying, missing good qualities and virtuousness, righteousness will themselves come within you. Such qualities will appear within you. You only will get surprised. But this will happen by accepting your relationship with God. We belong to God. This is the essence of all truth. You may be a householder or renounced. If you accept God as yours, then you will become preeminent. Mirabai accepted God as hers. Mere to Girdhar Gopal Rusharuna Koi. Mirabai neither gave birth to any son nor had any disciple, still even saints utter her name with the utmost respect. When this one objective will develop that I belong to God and I will proceed towards God, then Yamarana will become scared of you. Mighty flowers will be scared of you. Flowers will dissolve by themselves only. No one will be able to conquer you. God will protect you until you have one objective decided. Till then, all flowers will plunder you, trouble you. When a human takes refuge in a king, then thieves, murderers start to become scared of him. But take refuge in God and all flowers will be scared of you. You will obtain the strength to conquer lust, anger, etc. Whatever relation with God seems appropriate to you, accept that and become carefree. You formulate a relationship with God. This is an eminent strategy to develop love. Until you formulate a relationship with God, till then love will not arise. Accept God as yours, and everything will become alright. Righteousness, thoughts will emerge themselves, and those thoughts will be followed as well. Your body is the son of your mother or father, but yourself is the son of God. We belong to God. If you accept this truth, then your satsang is successful. Like a rich man's son has pride within him, a king's son has pride within him. Similarly, you should be proud that I am God's son, and easy and simple fact, God is mine. If God is called mine in such a way, then it impacts the Lord immensely. Estranged for countless births and after serving and suffering in 84 lakh bodily forms, if the embodied soul utters, O Lord, I am yours, O dear Lord, you are mine, then it satisfies God immensely. God will be utterly pleased, as if God has found something that belonged to Him but was lost from Him. Those who treat on the might of their sadhana, they are mere laborers. A mother never wastes the activities of her child. That if he has worked this much, then I'll feed him this much. I will love him this much. Waiting of activities is for a servant that whatever work he has done, he will be paid accordingly. People often require riches, estates, splendor, etc. But God doesn't require anything, just those who take refuge in their ability and worship, perform sadhana, ponder and contemplate, they all toil as laborers, therefore instead of depending on the might of your toiling, you must depend on the strength of belongingness to God. A wife is chaste from the self, not by consciousness. She is become chaste by purifying her inner consciousness or antakarna. Does marriage happen after he does marriage happen after the purification of the inner consciousness? This is an acceptance of the self. Acceptance has no connection with the impureness of the inner consciousness. Acceptance is of the self, not of the consciousness. If the self accepts God as its own, then what role will inner consciousness play? Will you accept God as yours after purification of the inner consciousness? I belong to the world. There is a great downfall in this. I belong to God. There is a great uprise in this. By having belongingness to God, you don't have to purposely leave the body defect stage, but it is left naturally. I am the body. If you accept so, then all flaws will come, but I belong to God, God is mine. If you accept so, then none of the flaws will come near you. If a striver or sadhaka performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as God, then his worldly activities become alright, and so will the activities for God. But if he performs all worldly obligations by believing himself as belonging to the world, then his worldly activities will not be alright, and activities for God or worship will not even happen. God is ours, but not for our use. Instead, we are for His use. It means that we should not take anything from the Lord. Instead, we have to give ourselves to Him. And even in the most difficult of circumstances, we have to consider it as a blessing sent by the Lord and remain delighted. Listening, contemplation, profound meditation, restriction of the eyes, nose, ears are not required. The fact is extremely simple. Jesus Gopal is mine and nobody else. Nobody is all except God. If it doesn't suit you, even then accept it. This fact is true, but not consider this to be difficult. The embodied soul is a fragment of God. There is nothing as great as this fact. I express to you with folded hands that you must go, that you must give importance to the fact that I belong to God. You must strengthen this determination. Nothing similar to this exists, has never existed, will not exist, and is impossible to exist. The best truth that has come under my opinion to attain salvation is we belong to God, we belong to God. If you accept so, then I consider this as the best form of bhiksha or alms. If you give me alms for a lifetime, even it is not that much beneficial than accepting this single fact that I belong to God. We are not going to stay here. We have come here and we have to leave like we stay in a traveler's hide. Similarly, we should consider ourselves here. Even when this body is not ours, then who else is ours? Except for God. Nobody is ours. Only God is ours. This is the first truth. This is the last truth and this is the ultimate truth. After many years, this has suited me to consider God as ours. God is ours and nobody else is ours. These two things from my heart. Except for this, I don't know much. We belong to God, God is ours. This is the true mantra. If you accept this, then your life will change in a few days. If someone asks who you are, then this must come within you first. I am God's. I belong to God. This is like a treasure hidden within your house because of not knowing, without, because of not being known to it, because of not being known to it, you are suffering like a poor. Oh dear Lord, I am yours. If you accept this, then it is your insurance at God's grace. Then keep on remembering God at all times. Do chanting of God's name. This is paying installments of that insurance in the entirety of the eternal cosmos. Nothing equivalent to even a strand of hair is ours, but a huge single fragment, the entirety of the cosmos exists that God is ours. To eliminate all troubles and suffering of the humans, there is a hunger, desire within the Lord that He calls me as His. With a sincere heart, just say, "Oh dear Lord, I am yours," then God becomes happy. If anyone considers somebody as his, then he doesn't consider God as his completely, even if he keeps on saying that God is mine. If you have to remember God and purpose, then understand that your belongingness to God has not happened. For utilization only, objects are ours, and for ourselves only, God is ours. Thus, make use of objects for the world and make use of yourself for God. Accept that I belong to God. If I belong to the world, is accepted. Then let go of worldly activities. Even with God's worship, you will forget God. If a married woman remembers her mother's house, that doesn't make her unmarried again. Similarly, when we belong to God, now if we may remember the world, that remembrance doesn't make us belong to the world. Worship is not constant, but the relationship is a constant. So I belong to God. You must change your ego in this way, nay by chanting, nay by connecting your relationship with God and becoming the same caste as Him. The realization be attained quickly. If you desire your salvation, then only keep attachment with God. Any other attachment is not helpful in attaining salvation. Even Sant Mahatmas develop your relationship with God by considering objects and people as yours. Pride will poison you, and- but everything is God, and God is mine. By accepting this, you will not be poisoned by pride as God has come in between. Nothing belongs to me and God is mine. If these two facts are accepted, then it will save your body. You will attain spiritual success very quickly. This path, when compared to others, provides prompt vibration. When a child calls Mom, Mom, his aim, thoughts, and trust are not on the word Mom, but instead on his relationship with his mother. The word Mom doesn't have power, but a mother's relationship has. Similarly, the power that exists in God's relationship is not there in His name. The Jiva, or the embodied soul, is a fragment of God. You have heard this, but I belong to God. Do you believe in this? One marries as the child is not born immediately, but is born something later. Similarly, you become gods, and all that you want will happen after some time. Realization will happen naturally. Accept this from your heart that we belong to God. We are pure. We are not at all sins. We are not at all sinners. We belong to God. Just by accepting this, in the end, eternal purity will come. Even if you are the worst of the sinners, even then God cannot deny that He is not mine. When you become God's, then all your doings become for God. You are God's, your house is God's, your king is God's, others are God's. If you accept this, then your satsang is successful. Accept everything as God's. What path easier than this should I tell? If a mother has 10 sons, it doesn't mean the mother has to divide in 10 parts. The mother belongs to all sons completely. Similarly, God is everyone's completely. Accept yourself as God's, and no one and no guru is required thereafter. I belong to God and God is mine. If you just accept this, then our satsang is a success and your work will also be done. Only God is mine. There is no obligation, no austerity, no pilgrimage, no knowledge, and no other fact greater than this. Accepting the word as ours and not accepting God as ours is a tremendous tragedy, tremendous tragedy, tremendous tragedy. If the mind is mine, the intellect is mine, and the body is mine, then how will God be released? Nothing in this world is mine. This is knowing the word completely. Nothing in this world is mine. Know this, and God is mine. Accept this, your work will be done. Even if you don't understand this, accept that God is mine. Even if you accept it falsely, it will become the truth because in reality He is ours. If you have faith and trust in God and God is mine, you have this sentiment within you, then even if you are not literate, you will become extremely intelligent. If you accept that God is mine, then all your shortcomings would be fulfilled. Once your relationship with God is established, all your ill behaviors will go. You will become a good son. You belong to God in the first place. All behaviors were acquired later on, good or bad. However, I am. I belong to God. Then everything else will become alright. Your behavior, your feelings, your lifestyle, everything will improve. We belong to God. God is ours. This is the real mantra. If you accept this, your life will change within a few days. The more we accept the word as ours, the distant our belongingness with God becomes. Except for love, nothing has the strength to attract God. A crucial factor in attaining that love is belongingness. Belongingness attracts God. A child's belongingness only attracts the mother. Therefore, belongingness is a crucial factor in visualizing God. Whenever a human says, "Oh Lord, I am yours, you are mine," God is extremely pleased upon hearing this. This is an insider secret. मेरे तो गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई. That's it. This is the whole point. There is nothing complicated. Mirabai has shown the path to everyone. I belong to God and God is mine. there is no capability, no eligibility, and no right, etc. equivalent to this belongingness. This is the essence of all the paths. If anyone anytime asks you, where are you from? Who are you? Then it should naturally come within your mind that I belong to God. This does not have to be told in front of everyone, but within your mind this should arise that I belong to God. God is ours, accept Him. Nobody else is ours. If you accept this, you will become liberated and lighter than the Mahatma, except for God. Even if the Guru is accepted as ours, then there is a foundation and benefit has not occurred. We belong to God, God is ours. We must accept this fact. With clenched teeth, squinted eyes, and a stiff chest, when even gross, sthula, subtle, sukshma, and causal, karna, bodies are not ours, then what else can be ours in this mortal world? Dear friends, now let's go through what is happening around the world. भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर चर्चा। फिटनेस अपना रहे हैं एआई तकनीक, एचसीएल फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजनाओं का शिलान्यास, डिजिटल पेमेंट का तेजी से बढ़ता इस्तेमाल, ये मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास करेंगे। आसाम अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। कैशलेस ट्रांजैक्शन, शहरों के साथ साथ ग्रामीण इलाकों में भी विस्तार, पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। सुरक्षित और तुरंत भुगतान की सुविधा, डिजिटल लेन देन में जबरदस्त उछाल। एचसीएल फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना का शिलान्यास समारोह आज, कैशलेस इकोनॉमी को मिल रही रफ्तार। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग से करेंगे आज अमित शाह। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक। एआई आधारित फ्रॉड सर्विलेंस को बढ़ावा दे रहा आरबीआई। फिटनेस अपना रहे हैं एआई तकनीक, डिजिटल पेमेंट का तेजी से बढ़ता इस्तेमाल, एचसीएल फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना का शिलान्यास, पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। शहरों के साथ साथ ग्रामीण इलाकों में भी विस्तार, अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। सुरक्षित और तुरंत भुगतान की सुविधा, ये मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति आज करेंगे द्विपक्षीय बैठक। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। यूपी में सेमीकंडक्टर ग्रिड निर्माण को मिलेगी कोई नई गति। कैशलेस इकोनॉमी, फिनटेक इनोवेशन क्या है? वह हर वर्ग में तेजी से बढ़ रहा यूपीआई का उपयोग। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। PM Modi Honorable Prime Minister said, in a very unique initiative, AMUL is leveraging AI to reach 36 lakh women dairy farmers across thousands of villages, providing real-time guidance in Gujarat on cattle health and productivity, empowering grassroots women producers. As the world's largest farmer-owned dairy cooperative, AMUL has supported its dairy farmers since inception. With the launch of AMUL AI, 36 lakh dairy farmers across 8,600 villages in Gujarat are now running stronger and more efficient dairy operations powered by artificial intelligence. Accessible on any phone, the AMUL AI assistant, also known as Salaman, draws from an extensive knowledge network and a database of over 3 crore cattle to deliver accurate responses to farmers' queries in Gujarat. The AI model can also be replicated in every language of India and the world using data from cattle registered in the system. Manual AI quickly answers questions on cattle profiles, feed and fodder management, health and symptoms evaluation, milk yield, drops, lactation, spot, and more. Annual wishes to thank the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, and the XF Foundation for their support in creating annual AI, the largest in the global dairy world. We remain committed to ensuring prosperity for our 36 lakh women, milk producers, and proudly support the Honorable Commission's vision of using AI for the welfare and happiness of both people and cattle. ये मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। यूपी में सेमीकंडक्टर विनिर्माण को मिलेगी नई नीति। HCL फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। यूपी में सेमीकंडक्टर विनिर्माण को मिलेगी नई गति। HCL फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना का शिलान्यास समारोह आज। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। पीएम unveils Mano vision for AI, which is for human control of tech. AI is a blueprint of tomorrow, not a threat, Modi says from Delhi. Making a pitch for democratizing AI, Prime Minister Modi on Thursday unveiled the Mano vision for a human-centric approach and use of the fast emerging technology with a strong accent on sovereignty and inclusivity. Inaugurating the AI Impact Summit here, he said India believes that artificial intelligence will truly solve the good of the world when it is shared and its codes are open, asserting that the country does not fear AI but sees a fortune in it and a blueprint of tomorrow. Welfare and happiness of all is our benchmark for AI to ensure that humans don't become a data point or grow materially stressed. I present the MANAV vision for AI, where M stands for moral and ethical system, A for accountable governance, and for national sovereignty, for accessible and inclusive. We for valid and legitimate, Modi said. Global leaders, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, French President Emmanuel Macron, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, Swiss President Guy Parmelin, and CEOs of leading technology companies from around the world were among those present at the summit. Modi said India's vision will become a crucial link for humanity's welfare in the AI-driven world of the 21st century. AI, he said, must be given an open sky, but command must remain in human hands. Citing the examples of GPS, the Prime Minister said the navigation tool gives suggestion on directions to take, but the final decision is that of the user. The direction in which humanity takes AI today will determine our future, Modi said. Emphasizing the importance of child safety, the Prime Minister said just as school syllabus are curated, the AI space must also be. child safe and family guided. Today there are two kinds of people, those who see fear in AI and those who see fortune, industries, fortune and future in AI, backed by talent, energy, capacity and policy clarity. Epstein finds fallout from the Royal Andrew held over misconduct news from London. The UK police on Thursday arrested Andrew Mountbatten, the younger brother of King Charles III, on suspicion of misconduct in public office following damaging allegations over his association with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Thames Valley Police said they are carrying out searches at addresses associated with former friends in Berkshire and Norfolk. While he remains in police custody, while the force said they will not be naming the arrested man, it is being widely reported that the arrest involves Andrew, who turned 66 on Thursday. Following a thorough assessment, we have now opened an investigation into this allegation of misconduct in public office, said Oliver Reid, Assistant Chief Constable of Thames Valley Police. In UK law, an arrest requires police to have responsible grounds to suspect an offence has taken place and reasonable grounds for believing that it is necessary to arrest the person in question. Earlier, when asked about the allegations against Andrew during his time as a former trade envoy in the Comments Department of Business over a decade ago, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer told the BBC that no individual is above the law. Join social media ban for kids Macron to India from New Delhi. French President Emmanuel Macron on Thursday expressed hope that India will join France and other countries in banning social media networks for children under 15 years or 15 years of age, emphasizing that protecting children is about not just regulation but civilization as well. In his address at the Global AI Impact Summit, he said there is no reason to expose children to content online that is legally forbidden in the real world and asserted that preventing digital abuse of children is a G7 priority under France's presidency of the bloc of advanced economies. Bangladesh, despite that from using its airspace, no plans to travel abroad, Anil Ambani said. Sensex tumbles on US Iran. Sensex tumbles on US Iran tension. Supreme Court slams free bees culture, says states should open avenues for employment. From New Delhi, Supreme Court on Thursday slammed the free bees and subsidies culture ahead of election and said it was high time to revisit such policies that hamper the country's economic development. Observing that the ultimate financial burden of such populist measure falls squarely on the shoulders of taxpayers. The bench headed by Chief Justice Suryakant asked, but this money, which the state says it will pay now, who will pay for it? This is taxpayers' money. The observations were made during the hearing of a petition filed by Tamil Nadu Power Distribution Corporation Limited, which proposed to give free electricity to all, irrespective of consumers' paying capacity. It is understandable when some people cannot afford. We have to provide. There are children who cannot afford education, so the state must provide. It is the state's duty. There are children who are blind but cannot afford to go to medical college. The state must help them. But the person who can enjoy have all means available and are affluent and therefore any kind of freebies first comes to their pocket. It is not high time for the states to revisit this policy framework, the CJI asked. The bench warned that the indiscriminate distribution of largesse is hampering the nation's economic development and training state exchequers already reeling under the massive revenue deficit. Madhya Pradesh hikes outside vehicle entry fee LMVs to pay 170 rupees from Shimla. Canada-based gangster Leda bossed he had Sarpanch killed, 8 to 10 suspects detained. Police says the train from Tarantaran. Cost life, not private commodity. High Court rejects FIR compromise. Chandigarh, Punjab and Haryana. High Court has held that allowing a compromise to terminate criminal proceedings in Haryana factory accident case would treat a lost life as a private commodity, negating the deterrent effect of law and public safety element inherent in such tragedies. The High Court passed the orders while dismissing a petition filed by Pradeep Kumar Tomar and another accused seeking fishing of a 2021 FIR registered at Firozpur Jail Police Station under Section 304A. अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस के होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। यूपी में सेमी कंडक्टर विनिर्माण को मिलेगी नई गति। एचसीएल फॉक्सकॉन संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना का शिलान्यास समारोह। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर चर्चा। The birth of potential from our patrons, another form of thought emerges drawn from our memories and shaped by our contradictions, no benches, not above us but alongside us. A spectacle of music, dance, and drama. Tesseract, the geometry of truth. 16 to 12, 16 to 22 March 2026, Jamshed Bhabha Theatre and City, Mumbai. India, we have seen listening, you have been curious, intrigued, challenged exactly as we intended. We invite you to experience Tesseract in Mumbai. Show proof. SGPC is noticed to Gyani Raghi, Gyani Harpreet told to tender public apology from Amit Shah. The Executive Committee of Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee on Thursday issued a 72-year notice to former Akal Takht Jathedar and current head Granthi of Golden Temple, Gyani Raghuveer Singh, asking him to produce evidence of his allegation against SGPC was online to target Badal's news from Jalandhar. A day after Darbar Sahib head Granthi SAD Faction Chief Islam, the SGPC Chief, taking over property loot. His false propaganda against Bhuma orders Takht Patna Sahib from Jalandhar. First such move from Sikh Takht. Though different Sikh personalities, including Takht Jathedars, came under criticism from Sikh community members and organizations and at times Islamic language was used against them. It is the first time that a Sikh issued such a directive for a particular Sikh personality. The Taksal chief came under sharp criticism from different Sikh quarters, especially after the Sikh seminaries, which was once headed by Jarnail Singh Bhindranwala, announced its alignment with the BJP. SGPC to meet AI reforms to curb misleading content from Amritsar. The Executive Committee of the Shiromani Gurudwara Prabandhak Committee on Thursday announced to hold readings with reading AI companies to prevent creation and uploading of misleading and satirical AI content on social media. Pathol Mishak video near Golden Temple was live from Amritsar. A video of an e-rickshaw carrying three foreign tourists over turning near the Golden Temple went viral on social media on Wednesday. भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा। यूपी में सेमीकंडक्टर विनिर्माण को मिलेगी नई गति। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। Estonia using AI smartly by building trust between governments and societies. Estonia is widely using AI in education and wants to collaborate with India in an interview with UI's Shurajit Gupta. Estonia's President Alan Karish talks about how build trust while rolling out citizen-centric services experts. What can Estonia offer to the world and India in terms of AI and tech? We can provide to India and the rest of the world our experience and how it utilized our society. One important thing we should share with the rest of our world is how we are building trust when we go for research, when we go for digitization or using AI. You should build trust not only between technologies but also between government and societies as a whole. AI is still developing so fast. We don't know what's going on, let's say, in 3 months or even 2 weeks, but we are prepared and we are trying to use this new technology smartly. This is what we can tell India. India is also a digitalized country, so we learn from each other. Could we give us a sense of the digitalization that has happened in Estonia? In Estonia, everything is online. That means you can even get married online. I mentioned tax, I mentioned prescriptions. Basically, everything one startup. Instead of using lawyers, it's using AI. It doesn't mean we don't know lawyers anymore, but we can focus on things which are more important as there are ways in Estonia get, is to get to the word. How are you ensuring privacy of data? Privacy is getting more and more important with AI technology. Data may belong to citizens, but data privacy, especially medical care, is a concern we see in Europe. In some countries, how difficult it is to introduce ID cards as people are concerned about data. What has been the increase in productivity as a result of digitization? Someone has calculated that it has raised GDP by 5%. That is a calculation that's just done by officials. It makes their life very comfortable in some countries. It's very difficult to fill up the tax forms for us. It's pre-filled. It takes maybe a couple of minutes if you don't have anything to add. It makes the whole thing transparent for medical prescriptions. You don't have to go to the doctor. He knows what your illness are. They give you prescription. You sit right away and you go to the pharmacy. What are the areas of cooperation you see with India? Like India, Estonia values education. We can collaborate on this. We started a league. We provided computer access to schools 30 years ago. Now we are doing the same with AI. We teach teachers and students how to use AI smartly. We have collaboration with OpenAI and Google and ask them to provide a platform that suits students' needs in Estonia. AI live is in every school and we are learning how to use it and how to actually change the whole system of how we teach students. Switzerland actively contributing to development of technical standards. Swiss President Guy Parmelin, Swiss President Guy Parmelin backs a governance framework for AI that does not rely on a single instrument and calls on societal norms that guide users. Excerpt from an interview with UI's Siddhartha. How should countries deal with AI regulation? Is there a need to have a new agency? With a regulatory cell, with a regulatory setup, stifle innovation and development of AI, and how do you deal with challenges such as the deepfake over the past 200 years, mankind has established thousands of legal, technical, and societal norms to regulate the development and use of engines in a vast number of different machines and vehicles with different levels of harmonization based on the specific context of use, like engines within AI also cannot be regulated by a single instrument, but we will need to develop a governance framework consisting of many instruments to cover different aspects of the development and use of AI. Switzerland is actively contributing to the development of technical standards for AI of binding and non-binding legal instruments like the recommendations of UNESCO or Global Partnership on AI and Council of Europe Framework Convention on AI, which has been elaborated among 55 countries from all around the world and is the first binding international treaty on AI. But we also need societal and cultural norms that guide us when using AI in a specific context. Switzerland is chairing the OSCE for the third time this year. In that capacity, what are you proposing to do to end the Russia-Ukraine war? Also, what do you make of India's efforts to reach out to both sides for ceasefire and return to dialogue under the first priority of its OSCE chairpersonship principles for lasting peace? Switzerland is committed to just peace in Ukraine. In his capacity as OSCE chairman in office, Federal Counsellor Ianeko Casio visited Kiev and Moscow along with the OSCE Secretary General to offer dialogue and to make sure all relevant actors know what the OSCE would contribute in the context of a negotiated settlement. Ultimately, it is up to the states to decide whether to make use of it. Last 1 year has been turbulent for trade. How much using have deals such as those with India providing FTAs such as the Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement are a key tool, especially in challenging times for trade policy. They enable the Swiss export industry to tap into new markets and diversify. Prime Minister's speech translated in sign language to AI from New Delhi. The strides in artificial intelligence were showcased during Prime Minister Modi's speech at the AI Impact Summit here on Thursday. To be future ready, India expands AI to be part of everyday life from New Delhi in a move that signals a shift from individual AI use to institution-led adoption. OpenAI on Wednesday announced partnerships with 6 Indian universities and 3 major edtech platforms to expand AI education across campuses, coaching centers, and regional languages. NVIDIA aims to enable 500 startups over the next 12 months from New Delhi. NVIDIA has partnered AI Grants India, a registered non-profit foundation to support early stage AI founders through its inception startup programs with an aim to enable up to 500 new AI startups over the next 12 months. Reports to media way under the collaboration. Founders building via AIGI will gain access to media's development, developer tools, infrastructure, and ecosystem support. People must be careful of risk while developing technology, AI expert says from New Delhi. Current frontier models of AI are developed by a handful of companies and in countries such as the US and China, while most other countries are passing victims of things they build. Joshua Bengio, professor of computer science at University of Montreal, said at the AI Impact Summit in New Delhi on Wednesday, emphasizing that only a handful of countries leading This domain is unacceptable. Belgium, who is widely considered as an AI pioneer, said nation must take this up at the highest diplomatic level. Frontier models in AI are the most advanced, large-scale, general-purpose machine learning models that currently push the boundaries of capability and multi-modality. Joshua said it's not just a question of morality, but also sovereignty. He added, this is also related to concentration of power. If AI capability continue to grow, there is a real possibility that there will be a huge discrepancy, even more than there is now, between the models, let's say, in the US and China, and the models that are being developed in other countries, and that could give those who countries or whoever is leading huge economic power, noting that the stability, the geopolitical stability that we have known since the Second World War could just go up in flames. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but when you introduce so much power and when it is concentrated in such a way, there is a real danger that you are going to break at the house. These observations are significant at a time when India is spearheading the campaign for democratizing AI. On what India should be careful with regard to AI. Banjo said people should be mindful of the effects or the risks that are being taken that are going to affect society while developing the technologies. We need to understand it scientifically. We need to understand it socially because there is a social component psychologically in the case of AI because we are talking about systems that interact with people and language. So a country like India would contribute to that understanding, he said. He also said there is a dire need to carry out independent risk assessment before deploying OpenAI models. The risks are not too large compared to the benefits because clearly there are benefits to sharing, in particular in developing countries like here in India. Then sure you should absolutely go open. If you see that the risk crosses the threshold for social accessibility, then you should not. So this way we might be able to get the benefits of open source when it makes sense and we could prevent catastrophic uses otherwise when you said. The professor also drew a parallel to so how thorough risk assessment is carried out before allowing the sale of medicines and the same should be followed when using artificial intelligence in the public. Geneva to host next AI summit, says Swiss President from New Delhi. Swiss President Guy, Swiss President Guy Kremlin on Thursday announced that his country is looking forward to hosting the next edition of AI Summit in Geneva in 2027. Parmenin is among around 20 global leaders at attending the ongoing AI Impact Summit in New Delhi. Switzerland is looking forward to hosting the 2027 AI Summit in Geneva and to working with the subsequent incoming host of the 2028 AI Summit, the United Arab Emirates as partner for the Geneva Summit. He said hosting the summit will strengthen Switzerland's position in digital policy and reaffirm its commitment to a rule-based international order. It will also consolidate our role as a leading center for innovation and research in AI, he said, adding the summit. It will offer an important platform to highlight the importance of international law and fundamental rights in the development and use of AI. Since the entry, Kremlin said he had valuable discussions with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and artificial intelligence, multilateral cooperation, and also on trade. Since the entry into force of the EFTA, India Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, our economic relations have experienced a highly dynamic momentum. He said a new bilateral investment treaty would further support our common objective of promoting Swiss investment in India and supporting sustainable job creation. He also discussed issues of international significance. He said in March last year, India and the European Free Trade Association agreed on ambitious trade deal to bolster their economy ties under the trace pact. The EFTA states of Iceland, the Liechtenstein, Norway, and Switzerland are looking at making an investment of $100 billion in India over the next 15 years. What makes the technology of artificial intelligence revolutionary is not just its speed or application potential. What makes it extraordinary is the direct impact on our daily lives. He said, people must be careful of this while developing technologies. AI expert from New Delhi need to maintain balance between innovation and regulation. Vaishnav says, social media calls for children only after careful consideration. Ashwini Vaishnav, Union IT Minister, says there are thousands and thousands of legacy systems in the world. Those legacy systems will have to be modernized, and our IT services companies are best placed to modernize them using the new AI-based solution used from New Delhi. Union IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav on Wednesday underlined the need to strike a balance between development of artificial intelligence and regulation and asserted that government will use a mix of technical regulations and laws going forward. India's approach has been a techno-legal approach, a combination of using technical solutions and legal structures. That approach is now appreciated by the global community. Some geographies have in the past used only regulation or a legal approach that has not really delivered the kind of results which are needed. The minister told TY in an interview, given that innovation may have a long runway, heavy regulation may not be required at this stage. This is probably the first innings of the first match of a test series. He hoped. The minister said big tech is pretty much working in sync with society and policymakers. Asked about restricting access of children to social media, Vaishnav said that currently discussions are underway. There is a discussion going on about the impact of social media on children and how it should be dealt with. Several countries have imposed restrictions and prohibitions, and in India too. Industry and public other stakeholders are discussing the issue. The right solution will emerge only through thoughtful deliberation. He also said that AI offered a lot of opportunities for Indian IT companies. The IT industry is also very cognizant of the challenges and they are pivoting very rapidly away from the old model to create a new model of providing services from software as a service to AI based services. There are thousands and thousands of legacy systems in the world. Those legacy systems will have to be modernized, and our IT services companies are best placed to modernize them. Using the new AI-based solutions, Vaishnav said, adding that the government, academia, and industry are harmonized. Asked about the PM's comments, asking IT companies to diversify beyond services to products and platforms. The minister said industry is calibrating these changes. They were trying to measure what this change would bring to their sector. Lots and lots of very fast small models is what the IT industry is putting their emphasis on, which can be placed in an enterprise where trust is the most important factor, he said. National added that the IT industry has devised a bouquet of small models and our sovereign models are complementing that. Survey says kids use AI daily, but most don't know how it works. On New Delhi, generative artificial intelligence is fast growing, fast becoming part of the children's learning routine in India. But a deep misconception about what the technology actually does is spreading distance quickly. A survey for AdTech 2025 released by Central Square Foundation on Wednesday showed 35% of children who already use EdTech are using Gen AI tools for learning. Even as nearly three-fourths of Gen AI aware children wrongly believe these tools are simply internet search engines. This survey conducted between July 2025 and Jan 2026, covering 12,500 households and 2,500 teachers across 10 states, showed that for children from low-income households, Gen AI adoption is no more experimental. 96% use it multiple times a week, and 69% operate it daily. Yet, understanding lags sharply behind usage. While 85% of Gen AI aware children said they understood how it was, and 2% quoted it with a search application, blurring the line between probabilistic AI generated responses and verified online information. This gap is critical as 46% of respondents flagged wrong information as a key risk associated with EdTech and Gen AI use, alongside concerns about overuse. The report showed that children were primarily using Gen AI for school-linked activities, with 73% relying on it for doubt solving and practice, 48% for learning new skills or language translation, and 32% for test preparation. The main attractions are easy to understand explanations, 45%, quick responses that save time, 41%, and interactivity formats, 40%. Features that make Gen AI especially appealing in homes where adult academic support may be limited. However, experts warn that high frequency use without foundational AI literacy could amplify risk. The New Delhi based NGO said the findings highlighted an urgent need to move beyond access and adoption metrics. To be future ready, India expects AI to be part of everyday life. पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक भारत ब्राजील द्विपक्षीय वार्ता आज भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति की द्विपक्षीय बैठक आज दोनों नेता द्विपक्षीय संबंधों के सभी पहलुओं की समीक्षा करेंगे पारस्परिक हित क्षेत्रीय और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी विचार विमर्श पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के स्थापना दिवस परेड में होंगे मुख्य अतिथि पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय बैठक भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा भारत और ब्राजील के बीच गहरे राजनीतिक संबंध वर्ष 1948 में स्थापित हुए थे राजनीतिक संबंध 2006 में रणनीतिक साझेदारी ने संबंधों को किया सुदृढ़ पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के जरिए होंगे शिलान्यास में शामिल अमित शाह आज करेंगे सीआरपीएफ स्थापना दिवस के एज मुख्य अतिथि भारत ब्राजील ब्राजीलिया में भारतीय दूतावास स्थित साओ पाउलो में भारतीय महावाणिज्य दूतावास, यूपी में सेमीकंडक्टर निर्माण को मिलेगी नई गति। ब्राजील का भी मुंबई में एक महावाणिज्य दूतावास। एशियन हॉटस्पॉट संयुक्त उद्यम परियोजना का शिलान्यास। दोनों देशों का तमाम वैश्विक मंचों पर सहयोग। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से शिलान्यास समारोह में होंगे शामिल। ब्रिक्स, आईबीएसए, G20, G4 मंचों पर सहयोग। ब्राजील को पेट्रोकेमिकल्स, एग्रोकेमिकल्स का निर्यात। दवाओं, इंजीनियरिंग उत्पाद का भी निर्यात शामिल। ब्राजील से सोया तेल। दोनों देशों के बीच व्यापार 2025 में 15 अरब डॉलर से अधिक। दोनों देशों के बीच संयुक्त रक्षा समिति जेडीसी की स्थापना। वर्ष 2003 में रक्षा सहयोग समझौता हुआ। Arsenal need to be self-critical, says RT data. All round Australia down India women from Canberra. Border or G. Livingston enter Jordan's 95 propels AF2 200 in flight clash against Canada from Chennai. I have become a smarter, says Blue Buffalo all-round show from Ahmedabad. For someone who once got picked for India only when Hardik Pandey was injured and who even struggled to find a place in the Mumbai side for a season, has come a long way. WI and group stage with all win record from Kolkata, departing those that look to end a winning note from Palkele. Unbeaten but uneasy, India's spin problem cast shadow over Super Teams from Ahmedabad, playing true to their reputation. Tournament favorites Tournament favorites India finished the league phase of the T20 World Cup 2026 unbeaten after beating the Netherlands by 17 runs on Wednesday night at the Narendra Modi Stadium. However, there are a few glitches they need to iron out before taking on much stronger sides in the Super 8 stage. India's catching has been below par, but the most glaring shortcoming has been their batters' failure to dominate spin, a concern that has also contributed to their form test defeats in recent years. One major reason India have been bogged down by rival spinners, especially off spinners, is the arduous run of form endured by explosive opener Abhishek Sharma, who had registered three consecutive ducks. ब्राजील से आया क्रूड ऑयल, रोश शुगर, कॉटन। पीएम मोदी वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के माध्यम से जाना समारोह में होंगे शामिल। ब्राजील से आयात लकड़ी, तारपीन ऑयल, कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड। पीएम मोदी और ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति के बीच आज द्विपक्षीय वार्ता। भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक संबंध। Elderly woman killed, robbed on Bengaluru outskirts from Bengaluru. A 69-year-old woman was allegedly murdered and robbed of her gold ornaments at her residence on the city's outskirts while her paralyzed husband was present, police said Thursday. Indore water contamination issue rocks MP Assembly government admits 22 deaths from Bhopal. Pregnant woman asked by brother from Karnataka. Free UP government school textbooks sold by scrap dealer for education department staff fees action from Bahreich UP. A large consignment of government school textbooks means for free distribution to students was sold by a scrap dealer, prompting suspension and termination proceedings against for education department personnel officials had on Thursday. District Magistrate Akshay Tripathi said he received a tip of on Feb 17, which indicated that a local scrap dealer had sold the textbooks and was transporting them in a truck. The police team intercepted the vehicle in neighboring Lakhimpur district after it had left Barish and brought it back. Twin infants separation from mother. Cruelty of highest order, says Supreme Court. From New Delhi. The Supreme Court on Thursday termed the separation of twin children at the age of 6 months from their mother by the estranged husband in a matrimonial dispute as a case of cruelty of highest order. The bench of Justice Vikram Nath, Sandeep Mehta, and N.V. Anjaria pulled up the husband for the separation of the children who are now 1.5 years old from the mother and asked both the estranged spouses to appear before the judges on the next date of hearing in chambers with their children. The husband has committed extreme cruelty by separating children of just 6 months from their mother. Welfare of children is paramount. This is a travesty of justice. Children as small as 6 months cannot be deprived of their mother. This is cruelty of the highest order, the bench observed. The top court was hearing a plea of the estranged husband seeking a transfer of matrimonial cases initiated by the wife from Lucknow to Punjab. The counsel for the husband said that the court should not disturb the status quo with respect to the twin children as it would be detrimental for them. The bench told the council that no nanny or granny can provide the care to children of 6 months as can the mother. The counsel for the husband claimed that she herself had left the matrimonial home and was not interested in keeping the children. Sonam not given videos which got him detailed life tells Supreme Court from New Delhi. Climate activist Sonam Wangchuk's wife Gitanjali J. Angmo released in the Supreme Court on Thursday that all videos which formed the basis of her husband's detention were not shown to him and only the thumbnails on pen drive were displayed. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal appearing in the court for Agmo told a bench of justices Arvind Kumar and Prasanna B. Varghese that not supplying the videos violated Wangchuk's right to effective representation before the advisory board as well as the government. It is now alleged by the state that the DIG came with a laptop and shown for videos. The laptop was provided to Daniel on October 5, 2025, but those four videos were not there. Let us assume they showed it to me. That is not the requirement of law. The requirement is to give it to me. They have to provide the document. I don't have to ask. It is their constitutional duty to supply. We have said that time and again that the phone was never supplied. Sibal said. Another lawyer assisting Sibal informed the court that the pen drive was inserted in the laptop before Wangchuk and he only saw the thumbnails. The videos were not actually played. None of the thumbnails were actually clicked. The lawyer said. Additional Solicitor General K.M. Nataraj submitted that there is a video in which the conversation with the DIG and Captain will show everything. The top court let it see the relevant video recordings, including a 40-minute video of the interaction between police officials and the detainee. The matter is now posted for hearing on Feb 23. On Monday, the apex court had questioned the center about the transcripts of videos submitted by it again. Wangchuk and said the translation should be precise in the age of artificial intelligence. Rebel BJP, Rebel BJP MLA Sharma joins TMC 2 months ahead of Bengal election. Vishnu Prasad Sharma had repeatedly raised the demand for a separate Golland state and at times even pitched for a separate North Bengal from Kolkata. Rebel BJP MLA Vishnu Prasad Sharma joined the ruling TMC on Thursday, delivering a setback to the Saffron camp barely 2 months before the 2026 West Bengal Assembly election and stirring fresh political churn in the Darjeeling Hills. Sharma Delhi air quality slips to poor. From New Delhi, the air quality in the national capital slipped to the poor category on Thursday evening. Gross abuse of power by Mamata by barging into IPAC threats ED to Supreme Court. Incriminating material forcibly taken and removed from premises during active search from New Delhi. The Enforcement Directorate has alleged gross abuse of power by the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee and the same machinery by illegally bargaining, barging into raids at the IPAC office and the premises of its director in connection with an alleged all pilferage scam. The agency rejected the West Bengal government's submission that Banerjee and the police had intervened to prevent armed person impersonating officials of central agencies from conducting an unauthorized search. The ED said its officials had duly displayed their ID cards during the Jan 8 raid and search authorization to the police officers. The bare pursuit of the facts would reveal gross abuse of power by the state machinery of the state of West Bengal. Senior officials of the state police have colluded and obstructed the discharge of the functions by officials of the ED under the PMLA. ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति भारत की राजकीय यात्रा पर ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति भारत की राजकीय यात्रा पर ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति का राष्ट्रपति भवन में औपचारिक स्वागत ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति लुइस इनासियो लुला दा सिल्वा का भारत दौरा ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति का राष्ट्रपति भवन में औपचारिक स्वागत बेडफोर्ड स्कूल मोहाली इंडिया's first British International Girls Boarding and Day Boarding School, a new chapter in girls' education, a landmark school drawing on for 70 plus years of Bradford School UK's legacy of educational excellence. Admissions open for 2026 session, flexi boarding, the best of both worlds. Students stay on campus during the week for learning and activities and return home on alternate weekends for family time, balancing independence with connection. A Bedford School Mohali education goes beyond the classroom. We nurture confidence, compassionate and courageous young women through a balanced approach to academics, sport, leadership and well-being in a safe, inspiring all-girls environment. Why choose Bedford School Mohali? Cambridge curriculum, 14-acre purpose-built campus. 1100-seater auditorium plus semi-Olympic swimming pool, 20 plus world-class sports facilities, secure premium boarding and shoot rooms 24 by 7 supervision, strong pastoral care, house mistresses, counseling, 1:1 mentoring. MS Nawami Aplin Bedford Schools Sector 84 Mohali। ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति भारत की राष्ट्रीय यात्रा पर। ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति का राष्ट्रपति भवन में औपचारिक स्वागत। ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति लुइस इनासियो लुला दा सिल्वा का भारत दौरा। Release of farm activist immediate front stage protest Bathinda. Pre-GST areas, pre-GST areas 136 properties attached from Chandigarh. Punjab requires land of force. Ravidas Center Minister meets their head from Jalandhar. ANTF gets a high-tech building in Jalandhar from Jalandhar. 6 kilogram heroin seized, one held in Firozpur from Firozpur. Gangster tells me why. Gangster Deva covered 10K held in 30 days from Chandigarh. Punjab's empanelment plan fails to bring specialist dogs shortage. 56% positions in government hospitals still vacant from Chandigarh. At a time when government hospitals across Punjab are grappling with an acute shortage of specialist doctors, the state government's plan to impanel retired and private specialists drew only a limited response so far. Against 300 specialist positions identified across district hospitals and sub-divisional hospitals, only 104 doctors joined. The empanelment drive was launched to plug critical gaps in civil and sub-divisional hospitals under the scheme. Private and retired specialists can provide clinical services in government facilities for a fixed fee per patient without any change in the existing cadre structure. Punjab is currently facing a significant shortfall in specialist manpower. Of the 2098 sanctioned specialist posts in the state, nearly 1,000 remain vacant despite repeated recruitment efforts in recent years. The health department struggled to attract and retain younger specialists in public institutions, prompting the government to explore alternative arrangements to ensure continuity of specialist care. At the district hospital level, 132 specialist posts were identified for empanelment. However, only 50 doctors joined so far. Obstetrics and gynecology had the highest requirement with 35 posts identified, but only 14 specialists joined in anesthesiology. 26 positions were identified, with just 3 doctors joining in general medicine. 11 doctors joined against 20 identified posts, while pediatrics witnessed 5 doctors opting for the scheme against 14 posts. In general surgery, 4 doctors joined against 8 identified posts. Psychiatry saw a 2 joinings against 4 posts. Dermatology 3 against 4, and chest and TB 2 against 6. Ophthalmology recorded 4 joinings against 6 posts. Radiology had only 1 specialist joined against 8 posts. At the sub-divisional hospital level, 168 posts were identified, but only 54 specialists came on board. Psychiatry had the highest requirement with 27 posts identified and 14 joinings. Radiology recorded 8 doctors offering their services against 31 posts. Pediatrics now 6 joinings against 20 posts, and general surgery 5 against 16. General medicine recorded 8 joinings against 30 posts. Obstetrics and gynecology saw 6 joinings against 14. Orthopedics 7 against 10, and chest and TB 2 against 11. ENT recorded 3 joinings against 20 posts, while Anesthesiology saw no joinings against 11 identified posts. Wide variation in districts, the response varied widely across districts at the district hospital level. Mustar recorded 4 joinings against 12 identified posts, Nawashahar 4 against 11, Mansa 5 against 12, and Udaipur 6 against 12. Some districts saw very little or no response. Firozpur recorded no joinings against 6 identified posts. Jalandhar and Kapurthala saw no joinings against 12 and 4 posts respectively at the sub-divisional hospital level. Rupert recorded 3 joinings against 19 identified posts, Sanju 6 against 18, Musar 8 against 14, and Mansa 4 against 12. And the scheme, impaneled specialists are paid rupees 100 per 100 patient for OPD and IPD services, rupees 3500 for major surgeries for cesarean section, rupees 1000 for minor surgeries, rupees 500 for minor procedures, for rupees 500 for ultrasound, rupees 1500 per emergency surgery, and rupees 2000 as anesthesia charge for major surgery. The scheme assures payment for a minimum patient load ranging from 15 to 50 OPD patients per day and 2 to 20 IPD patients per day, irrespective of actual footfall. Additional payments are calculated monthly for patients treated beyond these limits. Specialists are required to provide services for at least 3 hours daily at designated health facilities for Monday to Saturday while being permitted to continue private practice. Elsewhere, health department officials cited comparatively lower limitation as a key reason for the rapid response, noting that many private specialists earn substantially higher amounts per consultation or procedure in the private sector, terming the model a success. Health Minister Dr. Balbir Singh said the empanelment drive has helped the government address the shortage of specialists to some extent. He said the health department has received several applications and that interested doctors will be engaged wherever required. Regulatory clash forced PSPCL to withdraw policy from Patiala. The dispute centered on the PSPCL circular that allowed large electricity consumer operating from separate non-contiguous premises to share private cluster substation which PCRC ruled violated existing power regulations. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ममता सरकार से मांगा जवाब ममता सरकार पर सख्त सुप्रीम कोर्ट का सख्त आदेश पीसीआई गवर्नर ने शिकायत द्वारा संज्ञान में लिया है गए कुछ विशिष्ट मामलों के संबंध में तो कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की है अतः हम पुलिस महानिदेशक से अनुरोध करते हैं कि वे अब तक प्राप्त शिकायतें और उनके ऊपर की गई कार्रवाई का पूर्ण विवरण देते हुए एक पूरे कल्पनामा दाखिल करें हल्फनामे में इस पेश प्राप्त होने वाली किसी भी शिकायत का भी उल्लेख किया जाएगा में सूचित किया गया है कि राज्य में ईसीआई और अन्य शिकायतकर्ताओं द्वारा संज्ञान लिए गए कुछ विशिष्ट मामलों के संबंध में तो WhatsApp is helping India's small businesses do big things. WhatsApp business tools help 6 photos see the bigger picture and 60% growth. राज्य सरकार और चुनाव आयोग के प्रतिनिधि भी शामिल पश्चिम बंगाल के एसआई पर घमासान जारी ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी में मुलाकात द्विपक्षीय बैठक 56 लाख दलित मजदूर का होगा निपटारा करने के लिए भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा MDU registrar warns of strict action if faith office bypassed. From Rohtak, on February 18, VC Rajveer Singh had suspended Registrar Kishtan, who was later reinstated by the Haryana Governor's Office of Rohtak. No trust motion against Panchayat leader deferred from Hisar. FCR says ensure registration of NCLT orders from Chandigarh, Haryana Financial Commissioner Revenue and Disaster Management Department Dr. Sumita Misra directed all divisional commissioners and deputy commissioners in the state to ensure compulsory registration of orders issued by the National Company Law Tribunal and Court decrees in accordance with the prescribed legal provisions. Real estate fraud ED attaches 82 crore rupees assets from Chandigarh. Employees organization seeks OPS restoration from jail. With the Haryana budget session set to begin on February 20, government employees have intensified their campaigns seeking restoration of the old pension scheme and cashless medical facilities for those under the national pension system. Power utility wins 25-year fight for exercise. Power utility wins 25-year fight for excise duty trust from Chandigarh. Also case teacher jail for 5 years. Uttarakhand man held for night shelter murder from his son. In 9 months, Haryana screened 12.4 lakh for HIV, 5K positive from Chandigarh. Haryana Health intensified its campaign against HIV rates. Screening over 12.4 lakh individuals in the current financial year and strengthening treatment facilities to ensure statewide access. Additional Chief Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department, Sunita Mishra said on Wednesday. Haryana gears up for first ever built fully digital census is sent to Chandigarh. Haryana Chief Secretary Anurag Rastogi on Thursday virtually addressed a one-day conference of divisional commissioners. Budget session from today, opponents said to Governor Haryana government. INLDA's attention notices the Indian National Lok Dal has submitted 11 calling attention notices on various issues, including lack of action on a Supreme Court order for the construction of SYL canal deteriorating law and order situation, vacant teaching positions in government schools, drug abuse and severe shortage of staff in universities, provide order, lack of jobs, key issues from Chandigarh. The budget session of the Haryana Assembly beginning Friday is likely to be stormy, with the opposition preparing to corner the BJP government over several issues, including law and order, unemployment, and farmers' welfare. Terror associate held with four Terror associate held with two foreign made pistols in Rajouri from Jammu. Two repeat drug offenders placed under preventive detention from Shimla. BJP's anti-Himachal stance exposed for ministers like J. Ram over RDG Oro from Himachal Pradesh, Shimla. FTAs could hurt happily growers in HP JNT's usage from Shimla. Dharamshala Police girl was schizophrenic, says medical panel probing her death from lapses used from Kulu. Nepalese man found dead along Pedal River, case filed from Shimla. High Court, Madhya Pradesh flags highway encroachment risk for NHAI pillar inaction. Government plan along with Kiratpur Manali stretch north mark. Dismantling Kashmir Jammu factions was important. Big league been long in the making. J&K dare to dream under pressure. Priority will be to keep politics out of sports from Jammu. J&K awaiting government nod to form associations BCCI raise says. SIR next अधिकारियों की एंट्री ब्राजील में राष्ट्रपति का राष्ट्रपति भवन में औपचारिक स्वागत दुनिया करे गुणगान कांग्रेस करे अपमान भारत ब्राजील के बीच वैश्विक और आर्थिक मुद्दों पर होगी चर्चा DMDK aligned with DMK party, it once fought with jail from Chennai. No automatic bail for juveniles in heinous crimes, High Court says found right to. Chhattisgarh High Court has dismissed a juvenile's appeal for bail in a 2025 murder case, saying such relief cannot be treated as an absolute or automatic right, and that his reason would be defeat the ends of justice given the gravity of the offense. Justice Arvind Kumar Verma held earlier orders of the Juvenile Justice Board and his session court in Chhattisgarh's Dhamtari and held the High Court was not convinced that a juvenile could claim bail without courts examining the gravity and nature of the offense. JJP and the Sessions Court rightly prioritized child protection over routine bail in a heinous offense like murder. Such acts amount to a grave rupture of social order, violate the inherent dignity of childhood, and demand collective vigilance to restore moral balance. Justice Verma observed in his February 13 judgment. Wouldn't leave India without permission. Anil Ambani to Supreme Court says from New Delhi. Crimes involving death transcends boundaries of private injury. High Court said. Our state buses to pay rupees 600 attacks, working on multiple agents, SPs on Sarpanch murder, prepare for final phase of SIR. EC tells 22 states. Duties exercise expected to start from April, says election panel from New Delhi. The Evaluator stays MOD Artman refused to hold hands for a group week from New Delhi. ममता सरकार को सुप्रीम कोर्ट फटकार एसआईआर पर पूरा न होने पर चुनाव संभव नहीं। अमित शाह आज सीआरपीएफ के अंदर होंगे मुख्य अतिथि। ब्राजील के राष्ट्रपति का राष्ट्रपति भवन में हुआ औपचारिक स्वागत। Adani Anand from here to eternity from December to mid-Jan. Chennai is a mecca for music lovers, with its hugely popular festival of performing arts, culminating in Pongal festivities that celebrate the harvest. One such concert by Ashwini Shinde of the Jaipur Gharana, organized by National Center for the Performing Arts, stood out not only for a superb performance but also for the tagline that read Adi Anand from here to eternity, the timelessness of Indian music. If it works for India, I if it works for India, it will work globally. Functionality across big countries, diverse income levels, geographies, languages, and infra. Constants is a great test for every technology's resilience and adaptability, writes ex-CEOs of NITI AI top 10 and top 10 trends. This tag is not a story about LLMs and machines, but about less than a dozen people who are often battling each other, shaping how the tag evolves. Subplot who will be remembered and who will be forgotten. Whether AI will replace, destroy, or continue to serve us, we do not know yet. But this much is certain, the story of AI will always be one of people, those who made it, those who sold it, those who made money off it, and those who told us how it will end. Play a word association game with AI and two names will immediately come up. Same Atman and the Alan. Atman is the jokes of AI, is CEO of OpenAI, the soft-spoken salesman of generative AI who made ChatGPT evolve like Google and Xerox like Job who he too is a man who he too is a man you do not mess with, as the OpenAI board that tried to fire him found out when the board fired themselves to take him on. You need to be the calm to his Godzilla and who else can be that except Alan, once friend turned sworn adversary. Summit and details. There will be no global cooperation in AI, but Indian entrepreneurs can pick their niche. Around this time, 6 years ago, world was waking up to dangers of a brand new virus. Was COVID a pandemic? We still don't know. What we do know is that AI, which is in its infancy, already has or is close to acquiring knowledge to create and release biological weapons. In an essay titled The Adolescence of Technology, Anthropic CEO Dario embodied one last month that AI could guide someone of average knowledge and ability to do so. That's why as India AI Impact Summit wins down, Modi's call for AI to be guided by clear human values is significant. Epstein Prison abstaining Andrew's arrest says something good about UK, but no one anywhere is investigating the real story. Change can't be brought through yards. Change cannot. Change can be brought through arms surrendered Maoist from Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. BLO dies the day after finding name on SIR checklist from Malda. Who killed in accident in Bengal from Kolkata, filmmaker Vikram Bhatt, wife got bail in cheating case from New Delhi. Supreme Court on Thursday granted bail to filmmaker Vikram Bhatt and his wife Sitambri Bhatt, who were arrested in a case related to alleged cheating of rupees 30 crore on the promise of making a biopic in a doctor's late wife. High Court says fraud agencies cannot be high-handed in freezing bank accounts. The court noted that banks often freeze accounts without providing much information to the holders from Devraj UP. Retired naval officer accused of rape or marriage pretext gets bail from New Delhi. India France will jointly manufacture Rafale jets, Macron says from New Delhi. Help government overcome trust deficit among communities, Manipur CM. Hemchand Singh appeals to IDPs from Imphal. Naval information leakage for accused arrested from UP, Karnataka. Article 11 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights only interdicts imprisonment if that is sought solely on the ground of inability to fulfill the obligation. Section 51 of Civil Procedure Code also declares that if the debtor has no means to pay, he cannot be arrested and detained. If he has and still refuses or neglects to honor his obligation, or if he commits acts of bad faith, he incurs the liability to imprisonment under Section 51 of the Code, but this does not violate the mandate of Article 11 of the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. However, if he once had the means but now has no, or if he has the money now on which there are other pressing claims, it is violative of the spirit of Article 11 of the Covenant to arrest and confine him to jail so as to coerce him into payment. Thus, Justice Iyer seems to reaffirming the above view of H.R. Khanna J. in medium Jabalpur v. Shukla. This shows that in case there is no conflict between municipal law and international law, or where two constructions of the municipal law are possible, Indian courts can give effect to international law by giving harmonious construction. In Civil Rights Vigilance Committee, SNSRC College of Law, Bangalore versus Union of India and others, the Kerala High Court followed and quoted the above observation of the Supreme Court in George's case. The facts in this case were as follows. Geoffrey Bycott and Geoffrey Cook, the two cricket players of UK, were included in the MCC team scheduled to visit India between November 1981 and February 1982 to play six matches at different places in India. These two players had links with South Africa, which practiced policy of apartheid. The government of India was a party to the Glenlyn's Accord of June 12, 1977, entered into by the member countries of the Commonwealth, wherein they affirmed their full support for the international campaign against apartheid. Boycott and Cook has since formed a booklet issued by issued in May 1981 by the UN under the title Center against the Apartheid were among the sportsmen blacklisted by the UN for the having participated in sports event in South Africa. However, the government of India allowed the English cricket team, including those who players to come to the country and to play matches as scheduled. The Civil Rights Committee presented a writ petition impugning the said action of the government of India, but the learned single judge dismissed it, holding inter alia that such impugn action being an act of state, the court had no jurisdiction to examine its validity and to grant the relief sought in the writ petition. Hence, the present appeal was made. The division bench of the Karnataka High Court dismissed the appeal. Ventura said to deliver the judgment for himself and DM Chandrasekhar CC observed that the provision on Article 51 is not enforceable by any court, and if the Parliament does not enact any law for implementing the obligations under a treaty entered into by the government of India with foreign countries, courts cannot compel Parliament to make such law. In the absence of such law, court cannot also, in our view, enforce obedience to the government of India to its treaty obligations with foreign countries. The government of India's obligation under the Cleanliness Accord and obligation attached to its membership of United Nations cannot be enforced at the instance of citizens of this country or association of such citizens by courts in India unless such obligations are made part of the law of this country by means of appropriate legislation. In Gramophone Company of India Limited versus Virendra Bahadur Pandey, Chinnappa Reddy J. of the Supreme Court observed that if, in respect of any principle of international law, the Parliament says no, the National Court cannot say yes. National Court shall approve international law only. Does not conflict with national law. In case, however, the conflict is inevitable, the national law shall prevail. Present legal position, but the position will be different when there is no conflict between international conventions and the domestic law, as pointed out by the Supreme Court in Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan. In the absence of domestic law occupying the field to formulate effective measures to check the evil of sexual harassment of working women in all workplaces. The contents of international conventions and norms are significant for the purpose of interpretation of the guarantee of gender equality and right to work with human dignity in Articles 14, 15, 19, 1G and 21 of the Constitution and the safeguards of sexual harassment implicit therein. Any international convention not consistent with the fundamental rights and in harmony with its spirit must be read into these provisions to enlarge the meaning and content thereof. To promote the objects of constitutional guarantee, this is implicit from Article 51C and the enabling power of Parliament to enact laws for implementing international conventions and norms by virtue of Article 253, read with entry 14 of the Union list in the seventh schedule of Constitution. In this case, the Apex Court was dealing with the problem of harassment of working women. Delivering the judgment of the three-judge bench, J. Sharma CJ observed that the meaning and content of the fundamental rights guaranteed in the Constitution are of sufficient amplitude to encompass all the facets of gender equality, including prevention of sexual harassment abuse, independence of judicial reforms, a part of our constitutional scheme. The International Convention, especially Convention on the Constitutional Scheme, the International Convention, especially Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, and norms are to be read into them in the absence of enacted domestic law occupying the field when there is no inconsistency between them. It is now an accepted rule of judicial construction that regard must be had to international conventions and norms for construing domestic law when there is no inconsistency between them and there is a void in the domestic law. I thank all my brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students, scholars, teachers, trainers, professionals, official learners. I thank all respected doctors and directors. I thank all honorable education minister advisor. I thank honorable Mr. Manager. I thank the most honorable President Prince Modi. Thank you. Nice to see all of you. Thank you very much.